a quick, godly view of Jamal Murray's situation in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals. Let's talk about it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. For those basketball fans who are watching the NBA playoffs right now, we saw Game 2 of the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets, and the Timberwolves won, I believe, 106-80. This was a blowout game. This was a good game for the Timberwolves. A very shocking score because, the Timberwolves, they brought it. But there was a situation in which one of the Nuggets, Denver Nuggets star player, Jamal Murray, he was pretty upset, I guess, like the whole game, because like the defense of the Timberwolves was just on point and they were frustrating him. And we see his frustration show, and we see it show towards the referee. He took his frustrations out on the referee. Now we see him throw a towel at the referee. The referee, they did not see it, so they did not discipline him. Well, first of all, we see the Denver coach getting in the referee's face, just yelling at him, and there's no discipline. There's no consequence. There's no technical foul. There's no ejection. I believe that there should have at least been a technical foul. We see later on that Jamal Murray throws a towel. There's no consequence. Well, the ref, they didn't see it, so there's no consequence. We see that later on in the game, he throws a heating pad onto the court, which he threw towards the ref, in which it could have hurt someone because it landed on the court. Someone could have slid on it and got hurt. This is a big deal here, and there was no consequence. And what that shows is that without the discipline, it can affect that person, it could affect the person who was doing the crime or doing the fault or having fault or doing the action against the rules. That can go against, that can hurt not just them, but it can hurt the people that's surrounding them, that's in their circle. So we see here that there was no self-control from Murray, and we see that there was no self-control from the coach, and Murray sees this, and he sees that the ref lets the coach get away with it. There's no discipline, and that's what we have to look at. Without the discipline and without the correction, where is the learning? Where is the improving? Where is the trying not to do this again? Now we know that in Galatians, the 6th chapter, and the 7th through the 9th verse, it talks about we reap what we sow, and that there's a consequence for our actions. I mean, the consequence is not given. There's an issue. It can affect, like I said, it can affect not just the person, but the people in their circle. And that's why God, he disciplines us so that we can understand and know what is right and what is wrong, and how we can improve our actions and get better and get back on the right path with him. So we know that we have to discipline each other so that we can, that's why there's rules set in place so that we can learn and be in decency and in order, right? So we can follow these rules and do what is right. So let's go to some scriptures. Let's just understand that, our actions can affect not just us, but people, our family, our loved ones, right? So let's go to some scriptures. I want to tell you of a story of Achan. Achan, in the book of Joshua, Achan, his consequence for his actions not just affected him, but it affected his family. So we see in the book of Joshua, I believe in the 6th chapter, in the 7th chapter, is the story in which God had informed the Israelites to destroy the city of Jericho, but to only spare Rahab. So we see that everyone was doing it except for Achan. Achan, he didn't destroy everything. He kept some things for himself. And the Lord found out, of course, he knew. And what happened? The punishment was, it was ordered that his family, him, his wife, his possessions be destroyed. Now we see that due to his actions, his family were killed due to his actions. Now, this is something that we can relate to this. Without the discipline first of the coach, without the discipline of the towel being thrown by Jamal Murray, without the discipline of the heating pad being thrown, it can lead to a much severe punishment, and it can lead to a suspension for game 2. It could lead to his team being without him for game 3. And this is why we should nip things in the bud before it gets out of control. Let's go to Proverbs, the 25th chapter and the 28th verses. A person without self-control was like a city with broken down walls. Now imagine a city with broken down walls. There's no order. Everyone's running around. Everyone's doing this. Everyone's doing that. Everyone's breaking the rules. Everyone's doing what they want to do. It's just a city with no control. There's no control of it. Let's go to Hebrews, the 12th chapter. Let's start at the 5th verse. It says, "And have you forgotten the encouraging words God spoke to you as his children? He said, 'My child, do not make light of God's discipline, and do not give up when he corrects you. For the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he punishes each one he accepts as his child. As you endure this divine discipline, remember that God is treating you as his own children. Who ever heard of a child who is never disciplined by its father? If God doesn't discipline you as he does all his children, it means that you are illegitimate, and are not really his children at all.'" So as we relate to here, so there is a group of people in this league, and if we see this person is not being disciplined and this person is not being disciplined, how will we learn? All this is going to do is have more of this kind of behavior and have it spread through the league, and that's not what it should be. The discipline needs to be given so that people can follow the rules and do what is right. God's discipline needs to be given so that we can understand what's wrong, and we can now do what is right unto God. So I believe that Jamal Murray should be suspended. I'll be shocked if he's not suspended, but hopefully by the time the video airs, there will be a decision made. So we see here it, and I know that it's playoffs time, and the referees want to give a little, but look, we have to set a standard, right? It has to be a standard of how we, or how they, in the NBA, how they conduct themselves in front of not just the crowd, but in front of the players that's in the league. Not just the players who are playing, but the other players that are in the league. So we have to set our president as Christians a standard of how we are to act in the church, how we are to act, as Christians outside of the church and in our everyday life. So this was trouble for Jamal, and I believe, that there are times in which we get frustrated and we lose self-control, but we have to learn to deal with the discipline, and there's consequence for our actions. And our actions can affect not just us, but the people around us. Amen. God bless you all. Be safe.